Could you do that? Could you clip that off? Would you be comfortable doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, later. Welcome to A Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. We've all been quarantined for months. Been going a little stir crazy, but that's completely normal according to my therapist, Dr. Kalua. And the danger's not going to pass anytime soon because 20 states are now seeing a rise in coronavirus cases. And Florida, Texas, and Arizona all just set records for the most cases they have reported in a single day. Coronavirus is surging, or as Trump put it,
the great American comeback.
Every epidemiologist warned us not to open up too soon. This is the most predictable health outcome since the CDC published its landmark study, Health Projections and Inflammation Results of Sticking Your Penis in That Hornet's Nest. Several states in the South and southwestern U.S. opened for business despite those warnings, and now COVID is seeing a steady spread across the Sun Belt. So the exact thing that we were told would happen is now happening. You'd have to be a complete idiot to deny it. Wait, who's that at the dumb door? Why, it's Vice President Mike Pence, seen here repenting for eating a jalapeno popper. I swear, Mother, I thought it was a hush puppy. Don't tell ICE. On Monday, on a call with governors, Pence tried to blame the rising infection numbers on an increase in testing because for Pence, the real disease is knowledge. And you can catch it through the eyes and the ears, so he's going to need a new mask. And yesterday, Pence cranked up the make-believe and ripped off the knob with an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal entitled, "There Isn't a Coronavirus Second Wave." Great news for all the thousands of people who checked into hospitals this week. You can go home. Turns out you were faking it for all the free pudding. Pence's argument is that despite all the evidence to the contrary, we should not freak out, writing, "The media has taken to sounding the alarm bells over coronavirus infections. Such panic is overblown." Every time you've said something about COVID is overblown, you've been wrong. I think the panic is perfectly blown. Like, in terms of how this panic is blown, let's just say the panic is having an amazing birthday. Now keep in mind, Pence is the same medical genius who only 20 years ago wrote an article arguing that, despite the hysteria from the political class and the media, smoking doesn't kill. You do not want Mike Pence as your doctor. I'm afraid I have bad news. Your lung x-ray here shows a rapidly growing mass of media hysteria. I'm going to write you a prescription for cool menthol flavor. It'll relax your T-zone. Fortunately, we're also hearing from someone who actually knows his stuff. The nation's top epidemiologist, Dr. Anthony Fauci, seen here washing your hands with his eyes. Fauci had some good news. There's no need for a second lockdown for COVID-19. Woohoo! Burn your mask, lick the groceries, tear down your sex wall. We're free, is what I would say if I didn't actually read the article, because it turns out, despite the headline, what Fauci actually said was, I don't like to talk about a second wave right now because we haven't gotten out of our first wave. Come on, Tony. Don't play us like that. That's like saying, honey, I promise I'm not going to cheat on you again because I never stopped cheating on you the first time. Come on in, Diane. You're going to like her. Come on in. Unfortunately, there's no way the president knows how bad things are because Fauci says he has not talked with Trump in 2 weeks. Well, that's just common medical sense. When you're exposed to Trump, you want to quarantine for 14 days to make sure you haven't been affected with moronavirus. Symptoms include ramp shuffle and restless douche syndrome. Fauci broke some other disturbing news. Remember how at the beginning of the pandemic, public health experts said, don't wear masks? And then later said, yeah, wear masks. Well, here's the reason.
Why were we told later in the spring to wear them when we initially were told not to?
Well, the reason for that is that we were concerned, the public health community, and many people were saying this, were concerned that it was at a time when personal protective equipment, including the N95 masks and the surgical masks, were in very short supply. So there was not enthusiasm about going out and everybody buying a mask or getting a mask. We were afraid that that would deter away from the people who really needed it.
Okay, that makes logical sense, but it's not an excuse for lying to the American public. You could have told us to wear a bandana over our faces, or a scarf, or eat a whole giant container of cheese balls and then shove the empty plastic jar over our heads. I would have done that. I have done that. Fauci also made it clear that we should not be rushing to reopen. When asked if he would attend Trump's upcoming rally in Tulsa, he replied, no, adding that when it came to Trump's rallies, outside is better than inside, no crowd is better than crowd, and crowd is better than big crowd. And if the president needs any visual reference for what an outside, not big crowd looks like, it's this. You were ahead of your time, sir. Now we're learning more details about Trump's lawsuit trying to block the publication of a new book by former National Security Advisor and the scrubbing bubbles disapproving grandfather, John Bolton. The Justice Department is suing Bolton for breaching his non-disclosure agreement. Experts are calling the lawsuit one of the most extreme attempts to stop a former Trump advisor from recounting his experience. And it ain't gonna work. First of all, they've already distributed too many copies of the room where it happened, specifically to my room, where it's happening. Second, according to one expert, every time the government has tried to prevent someone from publishing what they believe to be classified, they have lost. For more, we turn to CBS legal analyst Walter Sobchak. Walter?
For your information, the Supreme Court has roundly rejected prior restraint.
Thank you for your analysis, Walter. Any other message for the president?
Forget it, Donnie, you're out of your element.
Thank you, Walter. Trump's lawsuit claims Bolton's book didn't finish the pre-publication process, but after rounds of edits ending in late April, the national security official who reviewed the book determined that the latest version of the manuscript no longer contained classified information. Oh. But less than a week later, you okay over there? Yeah. But less than a week later, the White House started another official review that came with the request of National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien, and the White House has now taken longer to review the book than Bolton did to write it. That's why Bolton's already working on the sequel, The room where it happened almost didn't happen. And you can see why Trump is so desperate to kill this book. Because this afternoon, several newspapers published excerpts. And I can't believe I'm saying this. It's worse than even I imagined. Let's start small. Bolton writes that during Trump's 2018 meeting with Kim Jong-un, Pompeo slipped Bolton a note disparaging the president, saying, he is so full of Not a great sign when you're meeting with a murderous dictator and your team is passing mean notes about you. According to Bolton, Trump's ignorance is near bottomless. Apparently, Trump didn't seem to know that Britain was a nuclear power and asked if Finland were part of Russia. Now, you can understand his confusion there because under President Trump, it feels like we're kind of part of Russia.
Slam slam.
Wish you could have seen my legs. I was just amazing. Bolton also says that intelligence briefings were a waste of time since much of the time was spent listening to Trump rather than Trump listening to the briefers. I don't know why they call this a brief when it goes on so long. Change of subject. Here are my favorite ways to eat potatoes in order of preference. Fried, French fried, deep fried, you writing this down? Tater toddled, mashed, smashed, waffled, and curly. Not a fan of the curly, okay? It's a meal, not an obstacle course. Anyway, what's next? Nukes? You can't nuke fries, they get all mushy. Turns out, Trump made it a habit to ask foreign countries to interfere in our elections. Bolton writes that Trump directly asked China's Xi to buy agricultural products to help him win farm states in 2020 and was pleading with Xi to ensure he'd win. Xi, please, buy the wheat or I'm dead meat. Also, Arizona's not looking good for me, so I'm going to need you guys to buy a lot of iced tea. Now, here's where the story goes from amoral idiocy to just downright evil, because Bolton writes, at the Osaka G20 meeting in 2019, Xi had explained to Trump why he was basically building concentration camps in Xinjiang. Trump said that Xi should go ahead with building the camps, which Trump thought was exactly the right thing to do. I have no doubt that those Chinese concentration camps are horrible. But you know, Trump's a builder. I'm sure he hooked up Xi with a good contractor, maybe the same guy who built Trump's baby cages. Bolton should not have been surprised by this regime he joined. When he arrived at the White House, Bolton said Chief of Staff John Kelly gave him a warning. "You can't imagine how desperate I am to get out of here. This is a bad place to work, as you will find out." Sounds like working there was like the movie Get Out, except the characters were much more hostile to black people. But while we're on the subject, boo-hoo, General, it's the White House, not Dairy Queen. If it's this horrible of a place, you're obliged to tell the world about the crimes and save the nation, not privately bitch about it with your buddy till there's an opening at Cold Stone Creamery. And it gets more disturbing. Bolton described a meeting in 2019 where Trump said journalists should be jailed so they have to divulge their sources. "These people should be executed. They're scumbags." Now, he may have said that, but I doubt Trump would ever execute a journalist. He'd ask Jared to have his Saudi friends do it. But maybe most damning of all is Bolton's description of Trump's pattern of corruption. He described several episodes where the president expressed willingness to halt criminal investigations to, in effect, give personal favors to dictators he liked, citing cases involving major firms in China and Turkey, adding, "The pattern looked like obstruction of justice as a way of life, which we couldn't accept." Damn right. John Bolton knew it was wrong to stand idly by and accept the president repeatedly obstructing justice. He knew that the right thing was to stand idly by and wait on that book deal. See you Tuesday, sir. We got a great show for you tonight. My guest tonight is Senator Kamala Harris. Stick around.